Over the past year, one of the biggest challenges we've faced on the property is water management. This region, known for its water and trees, drew us in with its lush greenery, but we didn't anticipate just how many water-related issues we'd have around the buildings. While having water is a blessing, the lack of French drains, no gutters, and water naturally finding the path of least resistance has caused problems over time. To protect the barns, we prioritized keeping them dry by excavating behind the buildings to stop water from penetrating the walls. With that almost done, we're one step closer to solving our water issues. As for all that excavated soil, Philippe moved it with the dumper to the other side of the property to use later for our future pond. But after months of driving back and forth through rain and shine and rain again, the garden has gotten, well, a bit messy.
Good morning. I'm gonna fire up the excavator and try to clean up all these ruts in the garden that go all the way down to the other field where I have been dumping all the soil from all the digging. I still have to bring some soil down, but I don't think that will be soon, so I'm gonna close them up, let them dry out a bit, so hopefully the next time I drive on it I won't be driving through ruts of 50 centimeters deep. So let's try to reset the ground a little bit. Oh, and also the ditch that I dug above the parking space, I want to extend it a little bit further because now all the water is coming in front of the solar panels and straight where the trailer and everything is, so it's really muddy there. I'm almost done flattening it out, and I made some piles of good soil on the way down. Once the battery is charged for the dumper, I'll try to get the dumper running again so I can get those piles out of here, and then it's gonna be a lot nicer to look at. And how come I have all those extra soil piles is because I dumped some soil trying to get through here with the dumper, so now that I'm flattening it I just have too much, but doesn't matter. I'm gonna pile it up in a corner somewhere because it's good black soil, and let this settle a bit, and maybe I'll have to put some more on it. It's not perfect, but considering the circumstances and it's all wet and gloopy, it's a lot better. Well. It's not for today. My other starter battery, I didn't make a proper connection, so it wasn't charging. And this one doesn't have the power to start it, so I'm gonna charge it as well. It's gonna be for tomorrow. I hope I can get it going. Just needs to do a little bit, and I'm gonna order parts for it because as you notice, it's on the end. Yeah. Alright, let's get a battery. It should be charged by now, and I'm gonna grab my start pilot as well because it is frosty days, so the machine is cold, so it might need some persuasion, and I just needed to do some more work now. I have been thinking about what to do with this one. We can probably fix the engine, but fixing this one probably means opening the whole thing and looking at the cylinders and everything, and have a look at the fuel system as well, because that's all sloppy. But that's a big job. That's opening up an engine. That's not just replacing an alternator or doing something simple. It means up opening the engine, and then how far do you go? Do you put new bearings on the crankshaft? Because you're almost there if you take off the cylinder housing. And you know, it's not the problem that I don't want to do it, but the problem is I need this machine. So I don't know if I start opening up the engine how long it will be out of order, to put it that way, because I'm not digging now at the back. I'm just cleaning this up. I needed to move a little bit of soil, but once I want to start digging at the back again, I will need it. And if it's in pieces and bits for 2 months, then no idea, because this is new for me. It's new territory. If you ask me about changing a boiler or something, I can tell you probably exactly how much time it's gonna take, or installing a new bathroom, I can give you a timeline as well, but for this, no idea. Anyways, let's start it up. Alright, let's give it a go without start pilot. This one needs maintenance as well. Started beeping a few hours ago, so I'm thinking it needs an oil change, oil filter, hydraulic filter and everything. So we'll have to have a look into ordering those as well. Right. This is good enough. It's, like I said, very goopy, so I'm not gonna drive too much through it. Just want it a little bit more flat. The only thing is I'm gonna scoop some more soil at the back there. But for now, let's go up. There's 2 more heaps of soil there that I want to move away. And then we're done with this for now.
A quick note on how the water is managed now. First, it's important to note that our property is set slightly lower than the other houses in our hamlet. Also, there are natural springs near the barn, one in the corner and another likely higher up. Both streams flow towards this first collection point. On top of that, when it rains, there's water that flows down from the road, ending up between the barn and the house, along with all the rainwater from the house roof, which collects at this point. All this water converges here and then spreads across the garden, creating a large flooded area. This makes it challenging to navigate, especially with the dumper, as the ground becomes more difficult to drive through.
So that's one thing I want to solve in the middle of the yard, is get the water to a better place. And also up there where I made that ditch, I want to extend it, because now everything in front of the solar panels and going down where the trailer and the old tractor is gets bogged as well, so it's too wet. there's a wire disconnected. This wire should be attached to the alternator. That way is the ditch that I dug, and I'm extending it towards the field, because here behind me this was always a swamp, and I know now because we've been living here a while and I've looked up between the big trees. There is sources of water, and they used to go to a little pond, and after that it went to another pond, and there's still water flowing through them, but not as much as it used to be. So I think somewhere along the line up there it has been broken or clogged. So when we clean up there and we fix the waterways, then I think this problem will solve itself, because I can't imagine it being this way and then farming here, because every time you drive one of your vehicles or something on here, you're just creating a mud bed. So it must have been different, and I think it's up there. That's where the solution will be, is to fix what they did in the old days, 100 years ago, whatever, 200 years ago. But for now the ditch will have to do to keep that parts where the trailers are, where I parked the dumper, where the solar panels are, to keep it a little bit more dry, because this is just getting insane. It's not stopping. Now you can see where my excavator is. That's the ditch inside the parking space. I'm gonna dig it a little bit further with the small bucket again. So why the small bucket is because it makes a trench or a ditch of this big, and I can drive over it without putting anything down. Once that one is done, it is the one in the yard, and then hopefully I can keep all the working space a little bit drier, because that's what's stopping me of working every time, is just the insane amount of water, which we didn't know. Of course, when you buy it, we knew there was a source in the corner of the barn, which was destroying the barn, because the people that sold us the house told us that, so they weren't lying. But it is still positive to have this much water. It is just for working now, it's a little bit annoying, but afterwards this is a blessing to have water just coming out of everywhere. Oh, and another blessing, since we're talking about blessings, is this soil that I dug out of this ditch is very clean. It's a healthy soil, well, from the naked eye. It doesn't contain any of the plastics or other stuff that you can find there, and it hasn't been farmed for 10 years. I think something like that, so it has had time to become healthy again. So as you can see, if I drive 2-3 times on this, it's finished. That's just how swampy it is. Now, hopefully this ditch will solve it. It is difficult to show you, but this is always running. Even when it is dry, this will always run a little trickle, and once the rain starts or a wetter season, then this becomes sometimes like a small little stream. So that is why I'm trying to divert it so it doesn't go into my work area anymore. And in the future, that's something we have been thinking about. Not that we want to use this pipe again, but for all our rainwater and everything from around the barns, we wanted to go to the pond, and maybe we want a certain piece that can start in the middle of the yard that goes there like a little riverbed, so we can make something around it. Okay, done. I really hope this works. I should have done it earlier. I thought about it, but I didn't want to make everything a mess, because you do make a mess when you do something like this. But it's just something we gotta live with for now, and try to keep it to a minimum so it doesn't get all muddy and wet, because this year and a half that we've been here has been muddy and wet. Well, I can't complain now, it has been better. We can't compare October, November and December to last year. It's a lot drier now. It is raining, but it's normal, it's autumn and winter. But it's not like last year, luckily, because that was just insane. It was non-stop rain. This is the water from the parking space at the back. A lot of it that I'm catching because I sloped it towards a little ditch that I made, and I made a ditch here and then it goes into the fields. So this is working pretty nice as well, and it's keeping most of it or a lot of it away from the parking space. At least it's not fully flooding, let's put it that way. All this water is coming from above the parking space. People that have been watching us a few videos ago, above the parking space I made a little ditch, and this is the result. So all this water would have normally gone into the parking space, or when the parking space was not there, it would go just straight to the new and the old barn. So there's a lot of water, and this just goes down to the fields as well, which at the moment doesn't matter that much, but I want to maybe give it another route that is a little bit better, because now it opens up here and then it floods again. So this is the pipe that I found in the middle of the yard, and all this water comes from up there. So that's why I dug this, and this is a lot better now. This is going where I wanted to go. And to your left is where I was driving with the dumper. So all the rain always came in there. And that's why I had big problems. It's not something I was dreaming of doing, because it means of tearing up the yard a little bit, but it's gonna solve a lot of problems, I hope.